swath of beautiful Belmont Park on a hazy and warm Wednesday afternoon. We hope you're tied on because not only is it a new week at Belmont, it's Wednesday, July 1st. Hard to believe, but that's the case. Third to final Wednesday of the Spring Summer Meet. Maggie Wolfendale, Jason Blewitt, glad you've joined us here on MSG+. You've made it in time. And Maggie, although we're pretty late in this summer meet at Belmont Park, I think it's safe to say we're coming up on Saturday, the second biggest day of racing all year long.
The overnight just came out, and boy, the Belmont Oaks and the Belmont Derby look to be spectacular races. I mean, I know Lady Eli is the headliner. I saw her schooling down in the paddock this afternoon, and she looked phenomenal, but she's facing some real competition. 14 will go to post.
Sun was out all day, plenty of blue skies in Elmont, New York. We had a heavy soaking rain, I'd say, early on, maybe when just around you were getting up to go to the barn and train. Some of us were dreaming of pick 6 and pick 4 scores when the rain hit. As a result, muddy and good to start this Wednesday card, but the main track was steadily drying out as the day progressed, and we do have 4 turf races to bring you. We also have a rundown of at least the 2 main events regarding Saturday's Stars and Stripes card. None more important than the unbeaten Lady Eli, who's a perfect 5 for 5, and she has not scared off any challengers, Maggie. 14 will go to the post in Saturday's Belmont Oaks.
And really her main competition here, Jay, will be number 6, Spanish Queen, who will ship in from California for Richard Baltas. Brice Blanc will be aboard, as he's been for this filly's 4 other career starts. Her only loss comes as a head back, and only her second start in a grade 3. So she looks pretty tough in here. There's some other horses that are maybe up and coming. We even get another California Invader in Charlotte Ray, and one from Ireland. For Aidan O'Brien. He's a pretty good guy. He's a pretty good trainer as well, and he'll bring outstanding. The Irish bred will get Lasix for the first time.
Nearly won the Belmont Derby a year ago with Adelaide, who just couldn't wear down Mr. Speaker. Came close, but was second best. We're happy to have the Coolmore folks and Aidan O'Brien with us on Saturday in the Belmont Oaks. Now, a shorter field regarding the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings in the $1.25 million Belmont Derby, in which Bolo is back on the turf. They tried the Kentucky Derby with this guy. Didn't work out against American Farrow, but his grass races, Maggie, have been very good.
And he likes to be up on the lead. There's some other horses that will have speed as well in here, Jay. We'll see how things work out, but the 3 inside horses kind of look to be the headliners. Obviously, Bolo arguably has run the fastest races and was on the Kentucky Derby trail, unlike most of these in here. We also have Takeover Target, who obviously his hopes have been high for him throughout his career, as well as Divisidero, who took down Takeover Target in their last start when they met in the Pennine Ridge, and he looks to be a horse who just keeps getting better each time he runs.
4:32 post time, race number 8 on Saturday's 11-race blockbuster program. Big day. We got to start early. 12:30 p.m. will be that first post on Saturday. Now, Normandy Invasion, do you remember him? Once upon a time, he ran in the Kentucky Derby. What? Oh, going into the first turn. Wow, this is a part of the race I did not catch. I saw the stretch run.
Great.
Holy smokes. Our Caravan floating Normandy Invasion out very wide into that clubhouse turn.
Taking it to him. I mean, it's a 3-horse race. Why not try to take out your main rival at 1 to 5? And obviously, the trick worked here, as Normandy Invasion will throw in the towel and let our Caravan re-rally down on the inside. I'm sure not exactly what his connections were hoping for. He's a horse who I feel like he was billed out to be, you know, next coming at Secretariat when we're heading into that 3-year-old season, and he, after layoff after layoff, has just not come back the same horse.
He's never been able to really hit a groove. Chad Brown had him good here and there, and I don't know the reason to take that horse away from Chad, because he did pretty well at Normandy Invasion, including a very good effort behind Orb in the Kentucky Derby back in 2013. But our Caravan was the spoiler in that 3-horse cast for Michael Dilger, who had a good day here on Sunday. 100 buyer in Mexicoma's win over Big Sandy, coming off a 400-day layoff. Very impressive impressive effort for a very good trainer. A trainer, in fact, that was the former assistant, or one of the former assistants to trainer Todd Pletcher, who was back at it. Kind of a sleepy Wednesday, but Todd winning another graded stakes. He's now got $12 million worth of purse money won in 2015. Here's a look at Red Rifle north of the border in the Dominion Day.
Well, we had to get a Woodbine race. It is Canada Day, I do believe here, Jay. As Red Rifle, he's kind of a cool horse. He can win on any surface. He doesn't win that often, but when he does, he shows up with his A game. He was a 2-1 favorite in this mile and a quarter over the synthetic. Alan Garcia was there to get the win for TAP.
All right, TAP, $12 million in earnings, 130 wins and counting. It's remarkable how many older stakes quality horses that barn currently has. They won the Cornhusker last weekend out of Prairie Meadows with Golden Lad, and Todd will take on Tonalist with Coach Inge and Milute in Saturday's co-featured Suburban. But what about today? We got back in the swing of things. Day number 45. A nice day in the park. Kids are out of school. Kids are on vacation. Bring them out. Plenty of room in that backyard. Let's get them in the gate. Race number 2, Maidens going long, 1.25 miles on the inner turf.
Charlie D, Good Response, Lottery Ticket, and Fire Away all go out for the lead together. Tobias and Andalusite will sit behind as Lottery Ticket and Good Response will make the pace. And these two are going to kick on by 3.5 lengths early on over Fire Away. And then it's Charlie D, Andalusite on the outside, and Tobias will save ground in last and race 6 lengths off of Lottery Ticket and Joel Rosario, who go by the opening quarter mile in 25 2/5 seconds. Lottery Ticket on top by 1.5 lengths on that first turn. Good Response second. Fire Away is running in third. And then it's Charlie D in fourth. Andalusite is alongside of Charlie D with 4 lengths to make up, just ahead of Tobias and Fernando Jara at the rear of the field. So they're on to the backstretch, and Lottery Ticket continues to lead them, and Good Response is kept close on the outside in second. Behind them, it's Charlie D and Fire Away, who's down toward the rail. The half was 52 4/5 seconds. And then it's Andalusite. Tobias in last, 4 lengths off of Lottery Ticket, who's making the pace, and it's an easy one. Good Response on the outside is second by 1 length. And then long shot Charlie D outside of the favorite Fire Away, who's down on the inside as they move for the turn. And then comes Tobias and Andalusite, who've been at the back so far, as Lottery Ticket has run 3/4 mile in 1:17 4, and Good Response is just a neck back on the outside. Fire Away and Charlie D behind them, Andalusite and Tobias around the far turn. Still Lottery Ticket. Good Response dead even now. Charlie D's on the outside of them. John Velasquez and Fire Away are right behind the top 3, and now there's running room for Fire Away to the outside of Good Response. Lottery Ticket starting to give in. Good Response and Fire Away come to the final furlong together, and Tobias is trying to run them down now and is into third. It's now Fire Away in front. Fire Away, Good Response, Tobias third. Fire Away's got it close to home, and it's Fire Away to win it. Good Response second, Tobias and Andalusite.
It's the iconic Black and Cherry of the Phipps stable, homebred colt by Warfront out of the Unbridled Mare Salute. Fire Away, fire down the lane. Perfect ride, perfect trip with Johnny V.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Jay. A textbook ride here by Johnny V, saving all the ground, tipping out when his horse was full of run, and boy, he was. He kicked clear nicely to break the maiden. It feels like Shug's been kind of winning a bunch of these maiden turf races as of late, too.
Some developing horses heading north to Saratoga Racecourse. Shug will no doubt be a factor up there, pointing honor code, in fact, to the August 8th Whitney going long, and maybe a tipping of the cap here with this colt by Warfront. His older half-brother, Mr. Speaker, of course, upset the Belmont Derby a year ago at a big price. Let's move on to race number 6. We will get them in the gate. We stay on the turf. We'll kick off the late pick 4 on the inner at 1 1/16 with this New York bred allowance race for fillies and mares.
Classic Aussie's got speed. Unspoken is right up there, too. And then it's Magical Miss on the outside, and Light Years Away is away running in 5th, just in behind them. 3 lengths back to Daisy Cutter, then Cosmic Serenity, Amazing Anne, and the trailer is Where's the Risk as they head on to the backstretch. And it is Classic Aussie who leads the way. A half length ahead of Capriana in second. And then it's Unspoken third on the outside. These 3 set the pace, and it's a decent one, a 23 3 opening quarter mile. Then it's Light Years Away running in 4th up the back stretch. Magical Miss on the outside is after that. And then tucked in is Cosmic Serenity, 4.5 lengths off the lead, 2 clear of Amazing Anne, outside of Daisy Cutter. Where's the Risk? Trails the field, 9 off the lead as they race for the turn with Classic Aussie and Capriana doing battle. Capriana squeezing through on the inside after a 48 3/2 mile. Capriana dead even now with Classic Aussie as they race for the turn. And then it's Unspoken just to the outside of them. Magical Mist goes up 4 wide. And then Cosmic Serenity, light years away to the inside. Amazing Anne gets going, has to go around the field with a 4 wide trip. And then comes Daisy Cutter. And Where's the Risk at the back of the pack? It's still Capriana and Classic Aussie, 3/4, 113 1. And now Capriana speeds away from Classic Aussie. And then it's Magical Miss, and clipping heels there was Cosmic Serenity, who got caught in traffic. And from far behind, Where's the Risk is taken second. But Capriana, oh, look at her run away. Capriana absolutely demolishes her competition. She won it by 12 lengths. And then it was Where's the Risk edging out Amazing Anne, followed by Light Years Away and Daisy Cutter.
As far as the wow factor goes, this was as sharp, as impressive an effort as you'll see. Holy cow.
Yeah, in the blink of an eye, she was cleared by 10 here, Jay, just motoring away from her competition. She, took pressure from the outside. Johnny said, let's go with her. He was aggressive. And really, you can see how she lengthens her stride, at the top of the lane, that she relished this good going. She relished a bit of give in the ground. And clearly, I would say that, she could stick with New York breds, but she could be heading to open company.
That might be the case. You've got the Lake George, Lake Placid upstate for 3-year-old fillies on the turf. She's an unbeaten daughter of Street Boss. Capriana is owned by Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, trained by who else? Todd Pletcher. John Velasquez, a perfect 2 for 2 on our full race replays on this Wednesday edition of Insider. Did Johnny V get a third? We'll find out when we come back on July 1st. It's easy to close your eyes and envision a bunch of food trucks in the backyard at Belmont Park on Independence Day. They were a big hit last July 4th. We'll do it all again this coming Saturday. 11 races, 12:30 p.m. is the first post. Over $1 million in guaranteed wagers. And the star-studded card of Stars and Stripes, Maggie, looking really forward to it.
Yeah, and we were just discussing, not to mention, the Belmont Sprint, so on and so forth. We see the return of Sam Rat, a pretty talented New York bred, as well as he returns in the 5th race, I believe, on Saturday.
First start since the Belmont Stakes. Was way up the track, or not way up the track, actually ran sneaky good in the 2014
he did not get the best
Belmont
trips.
Yeah,
either.
right. He's back, long time coming for Rick Bauer Jr. Yet another highlight on Saturday's program. But the highlight today on this Wednesday, July 1st, featured 8th race, an $80,000 2 other than allowance optional claimer. These are fillies and mares going 1.25 miles, and we'll send it back to Larry Colmus.
On the outside is Agawan. Between those two, Fashion Fun goes up to be a part of the early pace. And then it's Regarde and Selenite right together. They're 4.5 lengths off the lead and sitting well behind the field in the early stages here is Evidently. He's given them a 10-length head start as they race for the turn. Agawa is the leader. Agawa on top by about 1 3/4 lengths now over Fresh Feline on that first turn. The first quarter was in 25 1/5 seconds. Fashion Fun follows in third as they make their way to the back stretch. And then comes Regarde on the inside, who's 4 lengths off the lead. Selenite's right to the outside of her and 3 lengths ahead of Evidently. So they move on to the back stretch with Agawa on top by almost 1 length. Fresh Feline now almost 2 lengths behind as Agawa gets away through an easy half mile in 52 seconds flat. There is a lack of alacrity in the first half mile here, and Agawa's lead is a 1/2 length. Fresh Feline on the outside is running in second. Fashion Fund is right there in third. Regarde is fourth. Then it's Selenite to the outside, and Evidently on hold at the back of the field, 5.5 lengths off the lead of Agawa. Agawa on top, moving for the turn. 3/4 in 1:18 flat. Agawa into the turn with a 2.5 length lead on Fresh Feline. Fashion Fund on the outside is next, and then it's Regarde, followed by Selenite, and Evidently still trailing the field into this very slow pace, and Agawa is about to be joined up front by Fresh Feline as they turn for home. Fresh Feline on the outside. Agawa cuts the corner. Outside of them, it's Fashion Fund. Regarde is bottled up behind a wall of horses. Nowhere to go. Evidently, he's trying to come through there, too. Both of them charging through. They got through on the inside. Both Evidently and Regarde coming up the fence. Evidently's coming the best. Evidently from last to first to win. And then it was Selenite, followed by Fresh Feline, Agawa, and Regarde.
Dramatic end to this 8th race as you had pretty much the whole field more or less within a couple of lengths of each other. Agawa starts to drift, and both Irad Ortiz with Regarde and Joel Rosario with Evidently went for the hole at the exact same time.
Yeah, they did. Obviously, both of these fillies had run as they went for that hole. I was having deja vu with Regarde. Again, it was the same thing back in that May 3rd race with her. But I mean, it was the right call, I think, as we'll take a look at the DQ, the head-on here first, to take down Evidently. But there's no denying here, Jay, that she ran the best race.
That's the problem, and that's the tough call. And I stopped in and spoke to the stewards. We saw the foul there, the body contact with Evidently. I mean, she was full of run. I mean, she was an absolute powerhouse blowing between horses as Agawa, who's 3 off the rail, starts to drift in the black, and they both try to seize that opening, and Evidently got in there, but you could see, and this was the shot that I thought really told the tale from the hind end. You could really see her foul and get into Regarde a couple of times, and the stewards felt that Regarde started to re-rally again, and she only missed 4th money behind Agawa by a nose, and had she not been steadied down inside, she is at least 4th, and I think that went into the decision, or was part of the decision to disqualify Evidently. But I feel bad for the connections and any horse player that needed her, because she ran the best race.
Yeah, she did. I mean, behind a slow pace as well, as she was sitting last, and last by a good bit, especially in the first stages of the race. And I really thought that she kind of showed up as a new Evidently. I think her Monmouth race kind of alluded to that, and now hopefully she can get back to running this kind of race again, just hopefully cleanly.
Right, maybe that's the silver lining going forward for trainer Roy Lerman. In the meantime, John Velasquez, with the little assist from the stewards, with the filly that was well beaten, checking in second. Selenite was awarded the victory. New York bred for David Donk. Johnny V gets his 3rd on the afternoon. We see what else happened on this steamy Wednesday, July 1st, in which the flowers are in full bloom. A new set planted in the paddock for Stars and Stripes Day. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 with Mr. Larry C.
How about we in front? And here comes Round Up the Loot now, up into second, and closing in with a furlong to go. And Round Up the Loot has taken the lead now. Round Up the Loot, the favorite, to the front, leaving How About We and the others behind. It's going to be Round Up the Loot to get there first. How About We steadied late and was second under the wire, and then it was Sunrise, Lover, and Face. Awesome News along the rail. Tricky Zippy coming up to them 3 wide, and they're into the stretch. Tricky Zippy on the far outside. Awesome News and Slam Chowders giving way between those two, and it's back running in 3rd. Literata starting to get moving from the back of the pack, but it's Tricky Zippy in the clear. Tricky Zippy opening up as Literata takes second late from Awesome News as they come down to the line. Tricky Zippy and Rajiv Mirage win it in hand over Literata. And then it was Awesome News and Slam Chowder. These two are going to turn for home together, and Smiling Sunday secures the lead at the top of the stretch. Drifting out but getting away. Smiling Sunday's opened up, now to lead by 3 as they come into the final furlong. Mohawk Lily second by a long way, and Mill Point Creek is taken 3rd. It is Smiling Sunday and Javier Castellano coming home a winner here. Under the wire, lengthening their advantage. They're going to win easily over Mohawk Lily. And then it was Mill Point Creek and Awesome Winter 4th. Ahead of Roman Rain, who's edging up closer now. And then it's Mini Muffin in 4th. The half mile in 47 and 4, and they're into the stretch. On the rail, Hint of Sarcasm, the leader. But here comes Roman Rain on the outside. Roman Rain is closing in outside of Hint of Sarcasm, and Mini Muffin now takes 3rd. Down toward the inside, it's Mystic Mall. It's Roman Rain. Roman Rain and Luis Saez pulling away to win it over Hint of Sarcasm. And then it was Mini Muffin and Mystic Mall. Swimming. Laura's Patriot is on the far outside trying to mount a rally, and they're into the stretch. And here comes Kitty's Pearl now on the outside of On a Star. On a Star, Kitty's Pearl. Outside of them, Swimming is coming. It is still On a Star. Now Swimming has moved up into second. Kitty's Pearl not going on with them. And Swimming runs up alongside of On a Star. And it's going to be Swimming to go on and win at the end by about 3 over On a Star. It was eased up late, and then it was Kitty's Pearl and Megan's Muse. Inside, Hannah's Appeal on the outside. They turn for home together. 3/4 in 1, 14-2. Hannah's Appeal, Ragazza Pubella to the inside. Backwater coming up after them, and on the far outside, Little Mary Ellen. Backwater to the front. Backwater has taken the lead. Little Mary Ellen on the outside into second. The early leaders dropping back. It is Backwater. Backwater and Fernando Jara. They have it as they come down to the line. A 2-length win over Little Mary Ellen. And then it was Wild in the Streets in Ragazza Pubella.
19-1 upset in the last race. How about a little Backwater, not covered in the pick six? Only Hannah's Appeal was. She did not crack the exact at 6-5, and a little carryover action into Thursday, Maggie.
Yeah, we're looking at $26,000 plus carryover. It would be exciting to see that roll into this weekend, too, considering what we had last week here at Belmont. But taking a second look here, Jay, I thought we saw some really good rides on the card. Obviously, Johnny V, he was tremendous. But Rajiv Mirage going back here to race number 3 with Tricky Zippy in this New York Bred allowance.
What did you like about the ride here with Rajiv?
I thought that, you know, he was aggressive early. He made those 2 other horses go out and attack each other, and then he said, oh, okay, I'll take back. And he sat behind that pace and just angled her out, and she had the goods. I mean, I did like her going into this one, getting back on the dirt. I thought she was much more well-suited to this surface after obviously being pulled up in her last, but it was a good return to the races for her.
All right, Raj riding well. I know Richie's a big fan of his, and he should be primed for a big Saratoga, and Rajiv certainly has his name among the leading riders at Belmont Park. But it's the 5-star general, Maggie, on this Wednesday afternoon. Johnny V, the iconic Hall of Fame rider who walks away with 3 wins.
It's a great nickname for him there, Jay. I think you should coin that for him.
They trademark that, absolutely.
But Irad still leading very, very comfortably with 45 over to 37, Javier Castellano.
All right, Lady Eli for Irad Ortiz, and of course the second leading trainer at the meet chat round, Todd Pletcher, however, just 2 wins away from his personal best during this meet of 40. Keep in mind the record is 44, achieved a couple of years ago by David Jacobson. Todd 6 away from tying that. Michael Dove leads all owners, but David Jacobson did cut that 1-win lead just down to that single victory after winning today's first race with Roundup Duluth, who I thought, even on the drop, they might go after, they might shake. There were no claims on Roundup Duluth. There were no claims on day number 45, which means we will preview a little turf action. Guys studying up for a little Santa Anita, pondering winners galore in Thursday's Pick 6 carryover. We'll conclude the 2015 Party at the Park series this Friday, 3 p.m. First post. The B Street Band rocking tunes in the backyard. Post that 9-race card, anchored by the $100,000 Perfect Sting. Welcome back to the show. Maggie Wolfendale, Jason Blewitt, charging down the stretch on MSG Plus. Little Thursday preview, Maggie. You ready? 26,
ready. Let's get to
26 large, that Pick 6 carryover. Race 6, a major piece of the puzzle. A look back at Global Strike and Hayrot, who are both major contenders.
Yeah, this was a 1.5-mile race here, Jay, and I thought Hayrot, of the 3 horses here, ran the best race. He was 3 wide chasing the entire way. The race set up beautifully for Arctic North there. And, you know, looking at Global Strike, he was a horse that I questioned going that far, but I think turning back a 1/4 mile should help him out a lot for Todd Pletcher.
10, no problem on the turf for Powerful Instinct. His win 2 back at 1.25 miles.
Yeah, exactly. He returned very nicely. He is, I think, going to face a little tougher this time around.
No question. The horses that faced each other May 28th are much better than the field that Powerful Instinct was able to defeat 2 back, but he may get a decent setup in this race. regarding 1.25 miles in the pace on the inner turf. But it is a race, Maggie, to be fair, that hinges upon the German-bred Messi, who's coming in for grab motion. Top trainer, we know that. John Velasquez will have the mount on this 5-year-old gelding.
Yeah, and he was a late scratch when we had, only our first day off the turf, but Graham does great things with his European shippers. As we see, 28% positive ROI. We think about main sequence when we mention Messi in here. We'll see what the German bred brings to the table. He'll get Lasix and returns as a new gelding for his stateside debut.
Colts and geldings in the spotlight tomorrow. Race number 8, 1 mile, 3 furlongs. We hope you have your hiking shoes on, your running shoes as we go 2 long distances. And here's a look at Reflecting, whose last win was April 11, 2013.
I thought he had a great setup here, Reflecting, looking at that Belmont Gold Cup, and he had a ground-saving trip. He was had a little bit of traffic trouble, but he wasn't catching the first and second horses, and I thought he ran good here. I think he gets a little class relief this time around.
Joel Rosario will have the controls with Biz the Nurse, the Irish bred, who did win his American debut back in March.
Well, talking about some class relief, Biz the Nurse gets it here too. Didn't run very well in the Manhattan last time, but now he's second off of a layoff. I think he could step up his game here for Tom Albatrani.
Much like Graham Motion in the 6th race, Chad Brown has got a major European contender. 621 days the layoff with Morandi, who's got some good-looking group lines in his past performance cut. And here you go, a trainer that does everything well, 23% with those foreign shippers.
Yeah, but they're constantly overbet here, Jay. As Morandi, I mean, wow, we haven't seen him in so long. That is a tough layoff to overcome. I mean, yes, we all have faith in Chad, but I would be looking for a horse who might have a little more value.
Speaking of looking, 9 races, 120 post. Who did Andy look for? Let's find out.
Thanks a lot. It feels like there's some reasonable betting races on Thursday's card. Now, I'm going to look at the 7th race. I feel the 10 lined up. One of the reasons I think this is a good betting race is on paper, She's Marvy, I think, is the morning line favorite. And listen, they can all win, but it just doesn't seem that good to me. Claimed off a big drop last time, and there's some other more interesting players. I like Delightful Aaron off the claim. Claimed by Super Sharp Outfit, Jimmy Riccio, Michelle Nevin. They do terrific off the claim, and I think that Delightful Aaron could really be the speed of the speed in here for these new connections and never look back. I think the price will be relatively fair, and I'll use her with the 2, who's doing what she likes, and doing what she likes turned back in distance. I think she's a good complement to the 5, Delightful Aaron. A little 5-2 for me in race 7.
Andy Serling and myself, 12:15 p.m. for the Thursday edition of Talking Horses. We will break down all the X's and O's with that Pick 6 carryover. Great job, Maggie, as always. That'll do it for this edition of Insider. Thanks for joining us here on MSG Plus. We'll see you tomorrow night.